obviously we've got basically a repeat of this for our March first show straight after, so it's going to be try to get it all wrapped up in an hour and a half if we can, 40 and 40 with a 5-minute turnover. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone here today and thank everyone for coming to support the boxers and support the shows. Big thank you to our sponsors, Canme, Blanchardstown 4x4 and Boylan's Buses. Again, in boxing, everyone knows it's tough business. With sponsors, it makes life a little bit easier, and it makes it easier for all these lads on the table and out there on the floor. Again, thanks to the media. We've a lot more coverage for this show than we had at the start for the last one. And during the week we had some stuff in the papers which was quite good as well. And I believe there's a couple more here today that obviously weren't there the last one. So it's starting to grow, which is our plan. Everything has to start at the bottom, which we've done, and we're starting to grow and work our way up. The reason we're here today obviously is because we have a show booked in for February 9th. All the boys on the top table here are fighting. They're all in the home corner obviously. We also have announced this week, which I'm sure everyone's kind of aware of, we've announced another 2 shows. We've February 9th here, the recall. We've got March 1st here, which was originally on our plan, Stars of the Future. A lot of young up-and-coming prospects on that. And we also, because of the demand to get on the shows, I decided during the week, kind of Wednesday, we got approval for it, that we're actually going to go the week after as well here. So in the space of 4 weeks, we'll have 3 shows in Dublin. I don't think it's been done before, so I'm hoping we go without any hiccups and we can pull that off. I don't see any reason why not. Again, thanks everyone for coming. I just want to brief gap on November. And again, a lot of people in the room here were there. Thank you all for coming. It was a really successful night for myself, for all the boxers on the show, and everyone that works alongside me and helps me out. It went down very well. Publicly, I think we got a good bit of praise for it, and that to me was the seed planted, and it just gave me the hunger to push on for this year. People were kind of messaging me and saying, what do you have to announce so many shows for this year? I said on the first press conference, I'm not here just to run a show here, there, whenever, get a lad a fight, then he comes to me 6 weeks later, when am I next fight? That's not, in my opinion, a career. A career is when you work every day and you achieve something. It's not fighting March, don't fight again till July, maybe fight again in November, but never know. A career is when you get up in the morning, you go to work, you work, and you earn. So I said, right, let's put on 9 shows. So we've put out 9 dates, we've booked venues, we've everything in place for them. That's a roadmap given to every one of the fighters that we've signed and the rest that are coming on board. We obviously added another one, so now we're up to 10 for this year so far. So again, I said it in November, we're not here just to keep just a show here, a show there. We want to build and build and build and hopefully bring back to Dublin what's needed, because there's a lot of good boxers. You can see them here, you can see them out in the field there, and there's a lot that are on the third show that aren't actually here because it was so quick of a turnaround between Wednesday and today to get them here. So we might do another press conference before that one. This show, last show we had 7 4-rounders. Everyone said it was going to be that'd be brutal, 7 4-rounders against Journeymen. It's actually quite a good show, boxing wise. I got to sit and watch a lot of it myself on the night, and we brought in Journeymen, and I said it again on the first press conference. I brought in Journeymen that came to win, and they came to fight. They didn't come to jump on the floor, because that's just, it's not in me. I don't see a point. I don't think it benefits a boxer to pay money to bring someone in. It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all to bring someone in from Europe or whatever, that he comes in, you hit him a dig and he falls on the floor, you 20 seconds there, you look great on the night and people are clapping and screaming for you because they're full of gargle. But when you wake up the next morning, you don't feel like you fought. It's pointless. You have a much tougher sparks, and so I said to all the lads, and anyone I've signed, I told them, I'm not going to just spoon feed you 10 fellas that are going to fall on the floor. I'm not going to throw you into 10 fights where you're going to be up against it or you're going to fight wars every week. That's not it. It's all about progression. But you've got to bring in the right fighters at the right time. And I felt we done that in November. I felt it was a really good show. I felt all the lads were tested. A few of the lads making their debuts, and the lads making their debuts really got to see what professional boxing is about. And I think a couple of them definitely in the first fight learned what most of the lads in the sport learned in the first 5 fights, and that's why some of them will be pushing on in the next card. With this card, there's a couple of 6-rounders. We've obviously got our first title with Senan Kelly, the fight Jay Tinkland from Wales. We did try to get another one on board, it just wasn't approved. It was a late one. We tried to get Edward London in a Celtic title fight, and the opponent wasn't approved, so we just had to leave it. We're having a struggle out there, and I'll make it public knowledge to everybody there. People probably saying, why is he fighting this lad? Why is he not fighting this other Irish lad? Irish people will not fight Irish people. It's as simple as that. I don't know why. I don't know what the point of being in an industry where you won't bother. When you're at a level, when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, no, whatever it is, you won't step up and fight for a title against a fellow Irish person. It just doesn't make sense to me. The learning should be done in your first 4, 5, 6 fights. You should be well able to fight for Celtic titles in 5 fights, 6 fights. You definitely should be able to. Then you should be going back to the drawing board, win or lose, and you go again, you train, and after 8, 9 fights, you should be definitely thereabouts for an Irish title. And I just can't seem to find opponents. It's a job we had to get sent an opponent. We tried to get one. We were possibly doing a show in December, and I was trying to get opponents. No, couldn't get one. And then for this card, reached out to everyone and anyone we couldn't. So we went and we got the Welsh champion. In my opinion, it's a tough fight for Senan. I do believe that Senan wins the fight. I hope he wins the fight. He should win the fight. But again, we're bringing in a Welsh champion. We have to pay him to come in here to fight. You know, there should be 2 Irish lads. They should be both getting paid decent enough money to come and fight for a title that belongs to their boxing organisation, to BUI. But again, we're struggling. So it is hard. Same with Edwards. He can't get opponent. We can't get opponent. Couldn't get opponent in Northern for him. We got one in Catalonia for him, and it just wasn't approved. With a decent record, but he hadn't fought much fellas with decent credibility. So we will look at Edward's team. We've worked with Edward's team over the last few weeks, and you know, Edward's ready. He wants titles, and I've been asked, can I get him titles? And my job is to try to get him titles, and I am confident that I can get him titles, and I want to get him titles. So for March 8th, we will look to put Edward into a title fight. That I'm sure Edward is going to tell everybody who he's willing to fight, because I don't think there's anyone in the country he's not willing to fight. But I'm sure he will tip on the names that he wants to call out for that title fight. If not, we will have to do what we've done for Senan, and we'll have to go across the water, and we'll have to pay over the odds to bring in a Welsh, a Scottish, Catalonian, or a Basque region country to come in, which I think is lousy. I think you should really think of the atmosphere here. For the last show, we had Geordie men fighting Irish lads. Imagine having 2 Irish lads fighting for a title in a venue like this, packed out. You know, the atmosphere alone, that should get you up for it. So that's where I'm at the minute with trying to get matches for titles and things like that. I believe that with the platform now for the fighters, for all the fighters in Ireland, doesn't matter who you're signed with, doesn't matter who you're managed by. As you can see, I don't manage a lot of lads, some of the lads at this table. I don't manage some of the lads on the next table and the girls on the next table, but I'm working with the teams. I don't have to be managing it. You don't have to be trying to be fighting the cards. You know, it's about Irish boxing. I don't care about me or who you're signing with. Obviously, I'm signing fellas, and we've signed a fair few, and we'll continue to sign fighters. But just because you're not signing us doesn't mean you can't fight in our shows. You just get your management to reach out to us, or you reach out, and we can make it happen. So I'll just open up with Senan. Senan sat here last press conference he done in October. He said the reason why he signed for us, he felt he was trying to push on his career. He wanted to go after titles. He fought here in November. It wasn't Senan's best performance, but it was a tough fight on the night. With opponent changed that week on that day, really. To be honest, he didn't turn up to the weigh-in, and we had to get an opponent in on the Friday to fight on the Thursday to fight the Friday, and we got Senan an opponent. It was a tough fight. Senan's camp for that fight wasn't great, but it stayed the same. He wants to fight for titles. So in a second fight under us, he now steps up and he fights Jake Tinkland, again Welsh champion, 11-1, just coming off winning the Welsh title. Over to you, Senan. How are you feeling going into this fight, and what's the plan? How was November? How are you feeling since November, and now this fight going forward this year?
Yeah, I feel a lot better during this camp than I did for the last camp. I feel like I've really zoned in, the weight's no issue, everything's going perfect, so really looking forward to putting on a masterclass and hopefully taking Jay Tinkle out in the later rounds. That's the plan.
Okay, so that's fairly straightforward.
Short and simple.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. No, look, if anyone has any questions for Senan, throw them up from there. He is our main event. It's his first title fight, and you know he's going into a 7th fight. My hope is he wins the fight, and we can push him onto a Irish title fight, possibly May 25th on our card on May 25th. That's my plan for Senan. I've delivered what he's asked. I might have got the opponent, but the opponent was ran past his team. They approved it, and basically we've delivered. We've brought him his title fight. If he wins this fight, I've no doubt once we can find an Irish opponent at 140 pounds, Senan hopefully will fight for an Irish title within the next few months. Any questions for Senan? No. That's good. Okay, perfect. We'll move on. Next on the card will be Edward Donovan. I just tipped on Edward Donovan, 7-0. Edward campaigned at 140 originally. He's moved up, and speaking to his coaches, I believe 154 is where Edward's going to be most comfortable at the minute. Talent, yeah, you know, I think anyone in the room knows Edward Donovan, knows his family, knows his brother Paddy. Superstars in the making, in my opinion. I think Paddy's one of Irish brightest stars, and I know Edward sitting at the table would be saying, well, Paddy's that, what am I? You know, Edward, welcome.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to JP Promotions for having me on this show. It's great to be back home in Ireland fighting. Yes, look, this is going to be a great year for me. I'm looking after titles. I moved to 154 pounds. Feel comfortable at the weight, making the weight easy, sparring brilliant. Look, I'm ready for anybody at 154, no matter who the name. As you said earlier, the Irish fighters don't want to fight Irish fighters, but I'm willing to fight anybody at any name at 154 pounds.
I did have a conversation during the week with the BUI when I was putting forward our cards on some of the fights and that, and I brought your name up and I asked because obviously Jonathan has asked me to kind of get you some fights, keep you busy, keep you active and get you titles. So I did discuss it with the BUI. There was talk Craig O'Brien still holds the Irish title. Now I know he hasn't defended in 5 or 6 years. I actually won it for myself. So is that a fight you would be interested in?
Yeah, no problem at all. Craig O'Brien, look, as I said, no matter who the name is, I just want the titles. If it's Craig O'Brien, well be it, let's have it, no problem. If it's any other fighter that wants to step in and take his place, no problem. 154 is my weight and come for every title that can be is up for grabs this year.
Perfect. Having Paddy as a brother, and obviously in the last year, Paddy's gone from right up there now with the match room and the performance he's been putting in. Any pressure on you?
No, there's no pressure on me. Look, all I can do is improve and learn. Me and Paddy have been together since day one. Paddy's journey is just took new heights, new levels. I'm very proud of that. And look, it's great to be there, learning from him, sparring from him, and seeing the road he's going. And hopefully that's the road I'm heading.
Yeah, brilliant. I don't doubt it, Eddie. Any questions for Ed? Jeez, we'll be out of here in no time. Thanks very much, Edward. Okay, next we'll move on. Dodgy microphones again. Move on to Glenn Moran. Glenn debuted here in November. Went up against Alan White. Alan, 5-time Irish champion. Obviously he's gone into an opponent mode where he just wants to fight. I myself was very, very impressed with Alan in November. And I watched footage of him and I'd seen, you know, what he'd had, and we looked into, you know, his amateur career and that, and he, you know, he brought it in the debut. I probably, you know, gave Glenn too much of a debut, a tough debut it was. However, I felt he came through brilliantly. I thought his conditioning got him through the last few rounds, and I thought that's what won the fight. This time round, after going through a 4-round war with a fella that was definitely game and here to win, I said, what's the point putting him into another 4-round fight against a journeyman that isn't going to bring what Alan White brought to the table? So we stepping Glenn up to 6 rounds. How do you feel about that yourself? Usually, as you see in Ireland, especially in Ireland and in the UK as well, lads usually do 3, 4, 5, 6 4-rounders against big men as such. How do you feel about going up to 6 rounds?
Yeah, I don't really mind too much. I had a couple of fights in England on the semi-pro scene that were 6-rounders, so I've done it before. This time's obviously the bigger stage, I was a professional, but it's the same thing goes in. I know I have to work hard, I know how my body has to be on fight night, so I'm going to make sure that I'm ready, conditioned good enough to do 6 rounds at a good pace. Confident, yeah, that I can show better boxing skill on the night.
Yeah, well, I'd agree. You know, on the debut, I thought, you know, you had to show fight, you had to show heart, grit, and I feel, and you show boxing as well. Don't get me wrong, got you out of a lot of trouble as well, and it got you into good positions. On this fight, I do believe this is a fight where you'll be able to show your skills, and I know you've been working hard behind the scene, especially with young Matthew and Matthew's father as part of your team for this one, and I feel it's been shown. So I look forward to seeing that performance. Any questions for Glenn? Lovely. Next up, Matthew Tyndall. Matthew, as we all spoke in November, as part of his journey, it's coming down and coming down. The weight is dropping. He's really just getting into his own. I know myself personally that Matthew has really clicked since his debut. You know, since his debut to now, some of the sparring, Sean McComb, Tyrone McKenna, Stennon, a lot of top sparring being done. Even has a new nickname, the Matador. 3 minutes work on day one, and the fella got out of the ring, wasn't interested. You had over 150 people here. How did it feel for you? Was it what you dreamt of? Because I know since a young boy you've always dreamt of going pro, and how did it feel for you to make your debut?
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when I stepped out there. It was all like it just swarmed on me, but I couldn't believe it. But it could have been hard to perform with a crowd like that. But I got in there and I stuck to the game plan, and then we got him out in the first round. But I wanted more. But I feel like if we come out for the next round, he wouldn't have lasted long enough.
Yeah, I think the same. Some of the uppercuts you were catching him with were hurt. This time though, you're going up against Alexandrov. He was in with Sean McComb when Sean was early in his career. Sean said it was like hitting a brick wall. His hands were killing him after the fight. He's known not to be stopped. He just brings lads the distance. That's what he does. Are you going to go in looking to put on the show like the last time, try to get him out of there, that make a statement, or what is the plan for this one?
I feel like I can break him down over the 4 rounds. I genuinely do think I could stop him, but if it doesn't come, I don't care, because the 4 rounds will give me the experience and everything. But I feel like I can't stop him within the 4 rounds. The way I'm sparring now with Glenn, Sen and all, we're all rising each other's levels for this. So I feel like I definitely can't stop him in the 4 rounds yet.
Yeah, I hope, please God. Any questions for Matthew? No, this is brilliant. Sean Wood. Okay, Sean Murray. Introduce Sean. Sean's from Navan. Sean, we had a chat, it was the end of last year about going pro. Last September, October, I think it was, you decided to go pro. We earmarked this date as your debut, and we had a few chats about training and teams and things, and you went up and linked up with Pete Taylor. So you're up there training the Coliseum with all the lads, excellent stable of fighters along with the coaching team. You're standing right there in November, watching the show. I think you said to me half night, Jesus, I beat you knuckles, I'd love to get in there. On that night though, you witnessed your opponent, because obviously in 3 weeks time you're going to face Alan White. What's your opinion? You watched him that night, what did you think of him? Obviously Alan has a great amateur background, he comes, he brings it, he's game. It's your debut. I done the same to Glenn, I'm doing it to you. Sink or swim?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I seen him fight Glenn, and he was a tough lad. Like, he moved well around the ring, and he was a handful as well. Glenn did brilliantly against him, and I'm looking to do the same against him.
Well, you did say on day one, give me a few fights, and then I want 50-50s, I want to fight Irish lads, I want proper fights. I couldn't think of a better debut for you, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a tough one, but if you come through it, because you want to go into them fights early in your career, I think you need fights like this. There's no point setting you up. You know, usually people throw out, you know, you have a walkover on day one, it's a debut, you know, you get a pass. It's false pretenses in my opinion. Give you someone tough. The experience you're going to get in 3 weeks is going to be equivalent to 3 or 4 fights. It means give you another 1 or 2 when you're ready then, in my opinion.
Yeah, as I said, I don't want someone who's just going to lie down after I hit them. I want to be hit hard from him, and I want to hit him back, and he'll still be standing, so I can keep going.
Brilliant. I look forward to that one as well. Any questions for Sean? Nope. And next we welcome Peter Carr. Peter Carr is managed by Ian Cochran, and a lot of noise coming with Peter coming into the boxing world. Massive pedigree in the kickboxing world, European. I think you've won everything, Peter. I was chatting to, I know young Phil, or Philip Sutcliffe Senior is part of your coaching team, I believe.
Yeah.
Obviously, you boxed under Philip as a young fella down in Crumlin.
Yeah.
I chatted to him the other day. I was just chatting away to Phil, and I asked him about you. He said you hit like a hammer. He said you have a punch like a hammer. And I asked him we all know Phil Jr. was the name for one of the biggest punchers ever in Ireland. I asked him, what's your punch power like compared to Phil? And he said just as much. Now that's the case. I look really forward to witnessing the next few fights, because I know Phil has some power. I sparred him a lot of times. Are you looking forward to boxing? Do you think it's going to take much? I know you started with boxing, then you went to kickboxing, so you have that boxing in. I know a lot of kickboxers, when they come back to boxing, it's a bit of an adjustment. But how are you feeling about adjusting and just going boxing?
I feel good to do the fight. It's just kickboxing was my hands that did stop the fight. So it's not that I'm adjusting to it. It's just the fact of now people have to understand now I'm just boxing. I'm not just this kickboxer anymore. People actually always doubt me because of the kickboxing, but 80% of my fights were knockouts with my hands. So I'll just let the fight, when in the fight, I'll just let my hands do the talking.
Well, again, I discussed a few opponents with your manager. There was a few opponents there. We had a couple of, as I say, passes. But again, with your pedigree and that, we just looked at a few of the opponents, and there's the fella that looks like we've matched it with. He comes in with 2 fights, 1 win by knockout, and he's 1 loss. It's kind of, I think, get in, have a look, see, you should be beating this guy. Once you're on fire, once you do what you do, I feel you should be. But again, it was better than going in against someone that was just going to fall on the floor. If you hit as hard as I hear, I'm sure you'll make them fall on the floor. But I'd like to do it against someone that has a credible record rather than someone that you're expected to do it against. What's your opinions on that, on the opponent?
I've seen a few. I don't really watch much of people that fight. I just show up on the day. But for me, I'm not going to win looking for the knockout. It should come, and I know it will come. But I'm just going to enjoy myself before so and see how it goes.
And your tickets, you've took a high amount of tickets. I believe you're going to have a big fan base. You've had a fan base through your kickboxing career, so I'd expect a loud noise when you're coming to the ring, yeah?
Yeah, I think I need a few more tickets.
And there you have them in the bag, don't worry. Any questions for Peter? Okay, Peter, thank you very much. I'm going to
Thank you.
move on to Graham McCormick. Graham McCormick, one of the most experienced pros in Ireland, has had no luck, in my opinion, in the last 12 months. It seems to be every time Graham goes into a camp, the show gets cancelled, someone gets injured, and the fight doesn't happen. I think it happened 3 times in the last 12 months.
Yeah, 3 times last time.
He scheduled a fight for Celtic title in Wales against Kieran Gedlin. I don't know if Kieran fancies it because, in my opinion, there's been too many excuses being made over the last 6 months. You can't sit around waiting. You have one target, that's me fight, I'm going to fight him, and he pulls out, and then another show, we're going to fight him on this date, that gets cancelled, and then it's, we're going to do it this date, that date doesn't materialise. It becomes a time where you have to realise maybe that one's not going to happen. So we open doors to other areas. My thing with Graham is, Graham's ready to fight. He's been in camp after camp after camp. Graham's coming down on February just to get a 4-rounder in, just for activity, just to get in activity, to get that back in the ring feeling and the whole lot with eyes on. If the getting fight doesn't happen, we're going to set up a little plan for Graham. So if that one doesn't happen, we're going to have one here. If that does happen, this one here makes it also happen, because there's plenty of fights there for him. Graham will tell you now in about probably 30 seconds of all the fights that could be made and that he probably wants to make. And if there's any there that I can make, I'll make them straight away. And we'll set dates. But again, I'd like to see Graham in action here February, and then potentially on the 25th of May in a title fight of some sort. That's my plans for Graham. In the meantime, he can go to Wales and win that title as well. But 25th of May, I would be thinking it's time for Graham to get that night that he deserves. He's been working for the last 12 months. He's already had them nights, but the last 12 months he's been promised another couple and they just haven't happened. So please God, I can deliver that to Graham. Over to you, Graham.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Jay. And as every motion, it's great to be getting back in the ring again after such a shit kind of run of luck for the second half of last year. 3 fights falling through when it was camp after camp and sparring all the time, and just kind of getting burnt out there, not getting the fights for it. So it's nice to have a fight so early in the year. Thank yourself and Ian for getting me on the show. It's great to be sharing the card with my teammate Edward Donovan down, my regular sparring partner. There's going to be a lot of Limerick people up here on the night. And you're saying they're getting everyone hard fights. If you want to just get me someone that wants to fall over, I'm okay with that. I've had a fair share of hard fights in the back.
We have your opponent. It's I can't remember, Octavan Gratti. He doesn't fall over. That's one thing about him. And he's scheduled to fight the week after against Paul Ryan in Liverpool. So you go out there.
It's going to be a rough night, so
Make him tell.
which I'm used to.
Yeah.
No, but look, I've been around a couple of years, you know what I mean? I've been around the block. I'm looking forward to giving it one last run before I get too old. So I appreciate having me on the card. And look, if the welfare doesn't go ahead, then you know me, but I've never said no to a fight. I'll be game to fight whoever for titles when the time comes around.
May 25th. Who is the ideal 3 opponents for me to go against out of one of them? 1 of 3.
I don't mind what. Anyone at all that wants to fight, I'll fight. You know who I am. There's no point me sitting up here calling names, I'll fight anyone.
Paddy, is it a Limerick thing that you just want to fight everybody?
That's where we're from. We just fight. Like we just want to fight. You know what I mean? It's yeah. You want to fight? Let's go. That's the way it is. And I feel like I've kind of proven that in the last couple of years. That when I turned pro, it's like I never really said no to a fight. I fought everyone that I could, taking a couple of losses along the way. But I don't care. You know what I mean? I'd rather be known for getting in there and fighting. If I get an nasty bend, I get a nasty bend, but I didn't turn down a fight. I didn't back away from a fight. You know what I mean? And that's what I'd like to be known as when I leave boxing. And I think I've already gotten that name now. You know what I mean? So this is my last chapter. So let's see how many big fights I can get before I get out.
Well, recently I've signed a couple of fellas there that they're about your weight class. I think we can make fights. Titles. If we can get the lads eligible for titles, I'm sure we can sit down and we can put together a plan for you and the lads and see Dominic Donegan, Robbie Burke. There's 2 straight away that just popped into my head.
Yeah, no problem.
We can look at, with you. We'll sit down, we'll see if they make sense to you, if they make sense to the lads, and that would be potentially May 25th opportunity there.
Perfect. I'd be game ball for either of them.
Perfect. Good to have you.
Thanks, bud.
Next up, Shane Meehan. Down the end of it. A lot of people all know Shane. Hadn't got a massive amateur background in the last few years. He did as a youth and went away from amateur boxing. He was training with Pete Taylor in Pete's gym for, when he was 2 years, maybe was it, Shane? In around 2 years. He was in the gym when I was in the gym, done a lot of sparring with him, he sparred a lot of the other lads. Shane's wanted to go pro for probably over a year. Had good chats about it last year when I was training alongside him, and he recently moved to Celtic Warrior Gym. I believe it's on his doorstep, and he moved out there and he's training under Pascal Collins and Peter and the lads out there. Making his debut, Shane, I know you've got a bit of power in your punching as well, arriving to the pro game especially. What exactly should we all expect of you on the night?
So first of all, I just want to say thanks to everybody that came out here to support all these boxers, and I want to wish all the boxers at this table the best of luck. And I want to say thanks to Jay, because we wouldn't be here as well without Jay. But February the 9th, I just want to show everybody who I am. I've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. It's what I've always wanted my whole life, just like all the lads up here. And I just want to say you should expect fireworks on February 9th.
It's very simple and straightforward. Any questions for Shane? No? Okay, late edition, don't let the name tag because I only agreed this morning with John, who's part of Kane Lewis's team. Kane Lewis will also be on the card in February once all the medicals and all that stuff and date, which if not we get to Kane again was speaking to Jono and Kane's team, and they just want Kane to be busy this year. They want to push on. I've actually had a chat with them about potential title fights in around the middle of the year. A couple of opponents we looked at. We just briefly threw the map over there yesterday, and that's how this has come about. So I know it'll just get you back in the ring, get you 4 rounds under your belt in February, March, possibly up to get you a 6 rounder, and then maybe aim for the title fight. Maybe May 25th as well. Yeah, that's what our plan is. Again, I don't manage Kane, but again, like as I said earlier on, I'm willing to promote and help any fighter in Ireland to get the opportunities, give them a platform to come and showcase their skills and get the title fight, the 50-50 fights that they're looking for, or just build their career. So, Kane, thanks very much for coming.
Thanks, yeah, I only got the phone call there this morning to come up, so I'm ready to go. I'm always ready to go, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting out now, putting on a good performance. My first show in Dublin as well, so it's going to be good. And then yeah, later on in the year, go for the title.
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely, there's a couple of opponents there. I'm not going to start talking opponents yet because it's only fresh. Again, myself and John are only talking last night into this morning, and that's when we just got a little deal done to get you on the card. So we'll be building you, and possibly you may also fight on March 8th. That's what me and John will discuss. We get you a quick 4-rounder in 3 weeks, and then a few weeks later, then on the March 8th card, and we get you into a more real fight. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Brilliant. That is everybody at the top table. Is anyone any questions for Kane or anyone on the top table before we take a quick 5 minutes just to swap the top table around, bring in the March 1st table? Any questions for anyone at the top table?
Just before we finish up, I just want to say a big thanks to Jay Byrne for having us all on the show, and a big thanks to all my sponsors as well. The Ink Factory, BBSF, the DPF Centre, SRS Fire Safety, K78 Fitness, and Jay Mills. Jamie Dutton doesn't have a few downers at after the fight now as well. And one more thing as well, once I come through this fight, I'll be looking for the Irish title on the May 25th card as well. And hopefully David Ryan, if he's able to fight, that'll be the name I'll be looking for.
Come through this fight, and there's an Irish title opportunity on the table for you already. You won't know about it or who it is until you win the fight. That's already in place. It may not be here, but we've already got that offer on the table for you. Just on Zenon's fight, Jamie Dutton has sponsored the main event as well, so I just want to give a shout out to him and thank him as well for his support and sponsorship to the main event on the night as well. Again, without sponsors, very, very hard to do anything in boxing, so really appreciate all the sponsors. Just going to do a quick 5-minute turnaround where just change the name, places, swap the lads, and swap the graphics. And with 5 minutes, so the next card will be up. It will be, I'll put your names up just in case I forget someone that I think I'm the worst country in the world. Thanks very much, and lads.